Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Shooting Show. This week we're following Fowl in Denmark, keeping tabs on troublesome foxes and back with more airgunning action. But first, with a problem with barnacle geese, we're in Denmark as our team gets invited to help decoy the birds and thin out the population.
Nice to meet you.
Yes.
What was your name, sir?
Daniel.
Daniel, okay.
Daniel.
Hi.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Dennis.
Yeah.
That's Daniel.
Daniel, yeah.
You okay, Bure?
Gabriel, ja.
Daniel. Ja. Hej.
Hej. Jeg går lige igennem her. Hej, Thomas.
Jakob.
So today we have to carry all the stuff to the field. Or?
About 400 meters out on the field because the farmer don't want us to drive on the fields here.
And so, how many decoys do you bring now?
I think it's around 150. I'm gonna put them up here.
So the decoys out here in front, good, beautiful decoys out in front, full body, right behind us, close to over there. It's so much wind today, so if they want to land over the windsocks, we can also have a few windsocks here. But they're out here someplace, flying out there in that direction. So they'll see the windsocks as an attractor, and then they'll come over us here because they have the wind with. They have to turn around and come back, and then they'll see the good decoys out here in front. So hopefully they will land here. If not, they're gonna fly 10-15 meters over us to land behind us. Then we'll take the first time.
We are ready with the 150 barnacle decoys, and now we are just waiting for the geese to arrive. We have already heard some grey lace behind us, but today it's not so much about the grey lace. It's more about the barnacle geese that does a lot of damage on the farmer's field here. So in a short while the sun will come up, and probably with the sun the geese will start to travel, and we hope to be able to call them in. It will be Gabriel, the 13-year-old kid, who will try to call in the geese, and then we will have 4 shooters, Daniel and Dennis, Stephanie's father, and Stephanie of course, and then Jacob, who's a guy who has contact to the farmer here who wants help. Right.
Ja.
It's a bit dramatic now. A lot of geese come in. Big groups, small groups, some high, some low. They wait a bit to shoot. Sometimes they let few good ones pass and then they shoot on some bigger group that is a little more difficult. So, but a lot is happening. It's really action.
Jeg tror, vi var flere om det.
Ja, det tror jeg også.
Did you also do a double?
Yes, I think so.
Ja, det kom godt. Det godt sideskud.
Okay, so we have 3 guys that did a double on the 3 birds.
Yeah, they're very dead.
Yeah.
Very dead.
Stephanie, did you do a double?
Yeah, I think all 3 of us.
All 3, yeah.
And Daniel also.
The last couple of days there's been a couple of thousand in this field. That's why Jacob, he thought it was today we had to go, get them and push them away from here, push them to another field so we spread the damage a little bit over the different fields to keep the crops not to go totally damaged, or to keep the farmer happy. So now I see more geese out in the horizon.
Der er nogle flere derude. The barnacle is every year there's come more and more, and this year there's so many. Last week we have 2-3 days with good weather, high sun, and there we go from I think 2,000 to 5,000 plus.
Okay.
So and the bird we shooting now is new birds, and it's okay. There lands a couple of hundred, but when it's 5,000,
It makes the crops damage.
Yeah, a big problem. Yeah, a lot of damage.
Stephanie's son Gabriel is also with us, and he do the calling, a lot of the calling anyway, and he knows a lot about calling geese. He has been with since he was very young. He's still young, but he was very young, 5 years old when he started.
Time for a break.
Yeah.
For goose hunting, I typically use a semi-automatic gun. This is a Beretta, this one, and I'm really happy with that. In Denmark, we only permitted to have 2 shells in. That's why I typically have an extra one here. If there's an injured bird, I can very quick reload again for this 3rd shot. I'm happy for this gun here because it has a perfect camouflage, see, for the weed. And when we hunt barneys like we do today, we only have barnacle decoys out. No greylacs, no Canadians, no nothing else. Only the barnacles, because the barnacles, they go very often only to their own species. So we get them down on land right now because we only use these decoys. So that's perfect. And opposite the other geese, the other species, we can actually hunt just with camouflage clothing, sitting in high grass like this, and have the decoys very close to the camouflage we are sitting in here. And that works fine for the barnacles. It doesn't really work for the greylacs. Not much. It's difficult with the greylacs. They're more They are more cautious.
Can you tell me a little about the cartridge, what you use?
Yeah. Well, I'm happy for this one. This is the number 3, the size of it, and I use a 1270. That's fine for me. It's actually 1289. This one, 3.5 inch, but we don't do that anymore because they're very fast. These shells, they're around 500 meters a second, so that's okay. And it kills the birds fine.
And it's steel shot.
It's steel shots. Yeah, we have been shooting steel shot in Denmark for I think maybe 20 years or 25 years, maybe even.
At least 20.
Yeah, the lead is not legal in Denmark anymore, so we only shoot with steel shots. And when we started, for many years ago, we were actually a little unhappy because we thought the lead was the best. But we are really happy with these. They work perfect. Every year we shoot from 1,000 to 3,000 geese every season. That's 40, 50, sometimes 60 hunts.
Okay.
So that's, okay, we have geese coming in right now.
For a long time we didn't really like the barnacle meat because it tastes a little gamey.
Yeah.
And then we found out that if you take the young ones and you only take the breast and the thighs and then just fry them for a short while, so they're kind of red inside, and then you cut the breast in slices after that, it's the best goose.
We fry them just like a steak, just 5 minutes on each side. But the legs, we do the same on a hot pan, brown them 5 minutes on each side, and then afterwards we come some water and some bouillon on, salt and pepper, and then just let them cook for another hour. Then the meat actually falls off the bone, and that's the best tasting wild game I've ever tasted, actually.
Can you tell us a little about the goose calls you use?
Yes.
What is your technique?
I just you can't say anything wrong in this call because the barnacles say a lot of stuff. So
you just have to make some sound.
You just have to make some sound like a little dog.
Yeah.
So I call slower when they are close. So I'm not so they know that it's safe to be here. And when they're far out, I'll call higher. Yes.
No!
Did we kun 3?
Yeah, I didn't get one this time actually.
I don't know if Daniel did one.
I just took
he
this
got that
one and followed it down with a shotgun.
It's apparently the most delicious to get a young bird for the plate.
Yes.
So how do you know the difference between a young bird and an older bird?
Well, here we have an old and an old and a young bird. You can see this is the young one, and it doesn't have so much contrast in it. It doesn't. You can see the old one has the white and his
Some sharper colors.
Yeah, it's sharper colors. Yeah, it's the white and more gray. This is just and you can see the neck too. It's very dark black.
More black, yeah.
This is more gray. You can see.
Young gray one.
Yeah, young gray, and it's of course smaller. But the contrast is the way you can see it.
Yeah. Do you eat a lot of them yourself?
Yeah, I eat a lot of them, but not so much the old ones. The young ones you can they are very good if you make them. But the old one we use them just for sausages. So.
Lasagna.
Yeah, lasagna.
We have finished, and now the hard work starts. We have to pick out all the decoys here, all the geese we have shot. That's a hard job. We cannot drive down here, so we have to walk the whole way. the stuff, so that's what we do.
Token? Jamen, jeg kan godt have det.
We finished here today in Denmark. Kindly invited by Stephanie here of DK Way. Wildfowling, they sell lots of decoys and equipment, and it was a really good day. First time shooting decoys, barnacles, so yeah, really good.
Yeah, the farmer's happy for all the guests we shoot.
Yeah, for sure. And the cool thing we saw today is that all the geese, they came directly down to the decoys landing. We shot them on short distance, and that just proves that with the right equipment, the right decoys and the right setup, you don't have to shoot barnacles at high distance. You'll wound many. You can get them down easily, you just have to do it the right way.
Thanks to Thomas and the team there for some excellent flighting. Next up, Chris Parkin has a problem with foxes. With the target attacking a Harris hawk in training, this is a perfect opportunity for Chris to try out the latest Riflescope from PARD.
Hello, I'm Chris Parkin and this is the latest PARD DS3570 night vision Riflescope. I'm going to be using it later this evening to tackle a problem fox which has actually attacked a Harris hawk in daylight while it's being trained. Welcome to the shooting show. Sigrid is a 9-month-old Harris hawk. She was actually eating a squirrel she'd caught the other day and unfortunately was attacked by a fox. Luckily the owner was very close at hand and managed to scare the fox off immediately with nothing more than superficial injuries, but Sigrid was taken to the vets and upon examination she did have some scarring to her throat. Fortunately, after antibiotics, Sigrid is now fully in recovery, but the fox has got to be taken out.
But she'll eat the whole thing. Puts the claws on it eventually.
This piece of land I shoot on regularly seems to be a natural funnel for foxes. It's bisected by railways which are used by nature for their natural highways to get between different pieces of land. These foxes are being fed by a local resident and unfortunately some of them are becoming far too tame and they're no longer afraid of the humans around. This is probably what allowed Sigrid to be attacked when she was in such close proximity with her owner and trainer. I was expecting to wait out for a couple of hours on the fox. As it happened, I was walking down the farm track and towards my shooting bench just to prepare my equipment when I actually saw a fox in the PARD TA62 thermal imaging monocular. This was rather convenient, but it meant I had to be very quiet to get into position and load the rifle. I loaded the rifle into a set of tripod sticks that I'd been carrying and it was easy enough to make the shot at about 95 metres.
The DS is physically rated to withstand 6,000 joules of recoil, which is equivalent to a 4,500 foot-pound rifle.
Upon recovery, the fox was found to be in absolutely fantastic condition, and after being weighed later on, it was over 12 kilos, which is large for a fox around here. The fox's teeth showed little wear and it was obviously being fed soft food by the humans. But it was notable that it did have some damage to its left eye, and this is perhaps what had made it go even more tame because it relied very much so on the humans for its diet. Since I was here, I thought I'd have a squeak on the back of my fingers and see if anything else could be drawn in. I'm not the best squeaker in the world, but the foxes here aren't particularly wary and we can often draw some in from distance over which we can see them. Interestingly, I clicked on the night vision when I saw some ice to get a better view through some trees. It was a fox, but it disappeared behind some cover to the left, and when it reappeared, it looked very different. I actually put the rifle onto it again to look through the night vision to confirm identification, and it was actually a cat that probably wandered in from the next door farm as well. The really interesting point was, when this cat finally got wary of me and wandered back the way it had come, it disappeared behind the same cover it had appeared from. And when it reappeared back out the other side, it appeared to be a fox again. It wasn't any case of mythical transformation. These two animals had obviously run into each other behind some of the cover and warily scared each other off in the opposite directions. The heat source then reappeared from the direction it had come, and it was a fox. I allowed the fox to move into a more safe angle of fire, and after a couple of squeaks, stopped exactly where I wanted it and took another shot. This was about 70 metres away. I walked out to recover the fox, and it proved to be a vixen. Although much smaller, this was in equally good condition, but nothing like as large as the dog had been. The DS35 has sensor resolution of 2560 by 1440 pixels. The image refreshes at 30 frames per second for a smooth view. Field of view is 4.8 degrees laterally or 3.4 degrees vertically, but with the circular screen it's 3.4 degrees in both directions. Focal range is from 5 metres to infinity, so you can use it for rats all the way out to long-range foxes. The onboard illuminator has 3 power levels and maximum is 5 watts. IR wavelength is 850 nanometers. Maximum operating time on one battery is 8 hours, but this depends on infrared intensity and other electronic usage.
Well, tonight we've got a couple of foxes. We've got a dog and a vixen, both in good condition, great teeth on them. Been using the TA62 PARD spotter and the DS3570 Riflescope. I am a huge fan of that, and I'm rather loving this too. This only arrived a couple of days ago and it's working extremely well. No teething problems at all. And the DS35, which we'll be doing a full review on, is absolutely fantastic, and I am very picky about these things, especially the quality of the ocular lens at the back end. So it's all very well having the greatest image quality in the world, but if you can't actually access that image quality with a great ocular lens on the back to interact with your actual eyesight, well, it's no good, is it? And of course, it's all very well saying that on-screen footage on videos is superb compared and contrasted, but if the actual ocular lens is rubbish and you can't even see it very well when you're actually using it, and you're always fighting to access the eye box, well, it's useless, isn't it? And that is where this PARD DS has really impressed me, because that ocular lens is superb.
Good kit getting the job done there again. And finally, we're joining Mark Ripley as he zeroes in an air rifle and heads out hoping to knock down a few squirrels and some troublesome rabbits.
This morning I've come down to one of my local farms just to check the zero on the rifle here. I'm using the Brocock Sniper. This is the XR FAC version rifle in .25 caliber. You may remember I used this the other week to shoot a few rats with it. Well, I had it, or I should say I had a Pulsar C50 mounted on there then. I've now got a Helix day scope on there. This is the 6-24 model. Nice little scope this, so I use these scopes on my centerfire and rimfire rifles as well. Now, I've got this zeroed at 50 metres. I'm just going to check the zero, and then I'm going to put a target out at 100 metres and just suss out what the drops are on that. I've got a pretty good idea, but I'm just going to double check, make sure we are where we should be with it. The Sniper XR is a 10-shot rotary magazine, so all you do to load it is you turn the magazine, rotate it clockwise as far as it will go, drop the first pellet in and then release it against the spring tension which holds it in place, and then you drop another 9 pellets in and then close the lid over. Okay, that looks good. Take it out to 100. as you'd expect, at 50 metres, that's bang on. Let's go and have a look at the 100 metre target. That's the 100 metre target. Now we've got 4 shots on there, pretty central, pretty good for height. It's just the wind here, just got a little bit of a breeze coming across here, which is just moving the point of impact back and forth a little bit. I did try holding off a little bit on this one, but the rest have just drifted over a little bit. But elevation's good. That's about, what was that I dialed in? 16 MOA for that. So we've got quite a bit of drop. It's about 16 inches of drop there at 100 metres. But as long as you know what that is and you dial in for it, not a problem. Right, well, we'll head down to another farm I've got just around the corner here and have a look, see what's about in the woods. Right, so I'm out on one of my usual little bits of woodland. There's a lot of squirrels in here. You may remember from a few episodes back, I shot a few in here. Well, I'm going to have another little look this morning and see if I can knock over another 1 or 2. But if I don't have any luck, then well, maybe have a look in the backfield, see if there's any crows about. And I'll check the squirrel feeder while I'm here as well, just to see if they've finally sussed out how to use that or not. That's the first one down. He was only about 25 metres away. He was just foraging around in the leaves. It took me ages to be able to actually get onto him there because there was all like little bits of twig and leaves and stuff in the way. Yeah, it took me a little while to get a decent opportunity at him, but I made it pay, so let's go and get him. And as you can see, that's just taking him straight through the shoulder there, in one side and out the other. So that 25 caliber certainly does upset these little fellas. Got a squirrel just up front here. Let's see if I can get a bit closer. Lovely. One dead squirrel. Yeah, he didn't give me an awful lot of he didn't give me an awful lot there to aim at, but I could just sort of like see, I don't know, just like half of his body, and I was able to put a shot up just underneath his arm there, or his paw I should say, and shoot up through the ribs and straight through the chest, and he's just dropped straight out of that tree. So we'll walk over and pick that one up. Just leave the rifle here for a minute. Quite a good little spot this to wait. So again, another male squirrel, and so he was facing that way. So you can see that's where the shot went in, just there, and that's where it came out. So it's literally gone sort of like that, at a sort of 45-degree angle up through the body. So another squirrel down. I'm going to go back and wait where I was. I tend to use a thermal spotter an awful lot these days for squirrel shooting, rat shooting, rabbit shooting, anything really. It's a real game changer. This is the pulsar mergers. Not a cheap bit of kit, they're quite expensive, this sort of thing, but they are very nice. But you can get cheaper thermal imagers, which for airgun use and that are perfectly adequate. There's a couple of roe deer as well in this wood. They're always in here, and I can see they're just tucked up in a bit of cover just up front there. They don't seem to be too bothered about me being here at the minute, but I've seen them here before. There's a doe there and a young buck. It's nice to see them around. So there's another one about 50 yards in front of me in this tree. He's in, looks like a bit of a holly bush or something, about halfway up it, so I'm going to walk down and see if I can get a shot. Leave them there for a minute. So that one was about 40 metres, so still well within the comfort zone of this rifle. He's just dropped straight out of that tree again, another clean kill. Right, let's go and grab that one. That last squirrel was a female, or a sow I should call her, that's a proper name for them. Boars and sows apparently. What's called male and female. So I've pretty much walked through the main part of the wood now, so I'll take these few back and just check on the squirrel feed on the way back through. Well, I was just walking back to the feeder and spotted that one, so I fall down. And that one is another female, or sow, so 2 of each. So I filled that up a couple of days ago, so they probably cleared half of the nuts out of that, but I had that stick there propping up the lid, which I'll do again, just encourage them to get in there, because they have to lift the lid on this, and they don't seem too keen to. I don't know quite sussed that out yet. Well, that's 4 squirrels down this morning, so that's not too bad. I'm quite pleased with that. If I can just knock over 1 or 2 every time I come out, then that's great. But it's quite challenging to shoot squirrels in the wood like this. It's a bit different if they're coming to a feeder and they're sat eating. It gives you a stationary target at a set range, and that's a lot easier than trying to find them in the woods and get a shot at them, especially when they're moving around on the ground. So to get 4 like that, that's pretty good going. Now, that's not it for this episode. I've got a little gadget which I've been having a little play around with on my centerfire and rimfire rifles, and I think it might well, at its price point, appeal to a few airgun hunters. Well, here it is. This little device from HikMicro is a night vision add-on for your scope. So it works for the normal standard day scope, simply attaches to the front, locks on like so, and this little unit is good certainly out to 100 metres. I've used it out to probably 200 metres with an additional IR on there, and I've used it for foxing and it's been brilliant. So you've got a built-in IR here. It runs on a single 18650 battery. You can still use your illuminated reticle, you can dial your scope in. You can basically use your normal day scope in exactly the same way as you normally would. You can even zoom in, although when you do zoom in it does get a little bit pixelated. But all in all, I think at its price point, which is around about 750 quid, I think that's a lot of scope for your money. And as I say, this is the HikMicro Cheetah. So if you're interested in a night vision unit, that's well worth having a look at. So I was just heading back to the truck, and I've seen down this path here, there's a couple of rabbits chasing about. They've gone into the hedge at the minute, but I'm just going to go down here a little bit further and wait and see if they come back out. Well, that rabbit was 45 metres. There was 2 of them out there chasing about, and that one just ran out and stopped long enough for me to get shot, so I managed to shoot that, but the other one went off into the hedgerow before I got a chance of that. But 1 out of 2, so better than none. Right, let's go and pick that up. So that's a good healthy buck rabbit, that. Interesting little white flash of fur on the top of his head there, it's quite unusual. And it looks like that's just hit him just a little bit lower than I intended, but nonetheless it's killed it cleanly. So yeah, good rabbit that. So my little scope camera here, the battery's just about to die on that, so I'm going to call it a day for today, but I hope you've enjoyed the episode, and thanks for watching.
A fantastic rabbit for the pot there. Sadly, that's all we've got time for on this week's shooting show. Make sure you like and subscribe for some more videos from the team and myself, and if you're not a member of BASC, make sure you join. My name's Chris Castle, and this has been The Shooting Show.
If you aren't a member of BASC, it's time to join now. BASC, looking after your sport, looking after you.